Hello, hello, and happy Thursday. Good morning, everyone. I wanted to pop in here and share some life updates, share a little bit about what's going on with my education and business. And I also wanted to just offer a few tips and some support based around this whole COVID-19 and stay at home, since this is still around and we are still at home. And even though some states are reopening slowly, it is slow, it is a process, and it doesn't look like we're going to be able to take vacations or kind of get back to our normal lives anytime soon. Hi, Lindsay. So I just wanted to bring some encouragement to you today. But first, I wanted to share some things that I've been doing recently. So I am not a huge reader. I kind of go through phases. When I was a kid, I used to read all the time. And then, adult life. But I do love reading. And what I've realized about myself recently, I had this conversation with my husband the other day, my brain is very singularly focused. So I will get obsessive about a topic and want to know everything about it. And if I'm really interested in it, I will just absorb all the information. If I'm not interested or I'm not checked in, then my brain it doesn't even register. Like, I could watch the same commercial 50 times and have no idea what it's for or what the brand is or what the music behind it is if I'm not actively paying attention. That's just how my brain works. Or if it's not something that I want to learn about. So it's very selective. It's like, interested, absorb all the information. Not interested, don't hear anything you say. So, I started school this week. I'm going back to school for a graduate certificate. So it's a master's level thing. It's a graduate certificate in nutrition oncology. And that is a year-long program, doing it part-time. So I will be doing, it's a year-long in an academic calendar year, but it's actually a fiscal year if I am, is that the right word? Whatever, you know what I mean. It's a calendar year. That's the right word. If I do it part-time. So basically summer, fall, spring, summer, which is how I'm breaking it up. So I could do it in an academic year of just fall and spring, but because I am still running a business full-time and trying to navigate my personal life and family on top of that, I decided to do it part-time. So it is going to be an annual year. But it's a graduate certificate in nutrition oncology, which is pretty awesome. So I knew that was starting this week, and that has been just a lot, and I'm going to share that with you in a minute. But last week, so a couple weeks prior to all of school starting, I decided to watch I Dream of Jeannie, right? So during quarantine, you're like, okay, what shows am I going to watch and all this kind of stuff. And I always liked I Dream of Jeannie when I was little, and I pulled it up, and I got so interested in it. Speaking about how my brain works and gets obsessive if it's interesting to me, I was so interested in it that I watched seasons 2, 3, and 4 on Netflix. I found season 5 and I paid for it on Amazon Prime. And then I found season 1 on this streaming app called Crackle, and I watched it. So I watched literally every single episode of I Dream of Jeannie that ever was made. And I was so interested in it because of the people and the actors. I started doing all this research on them. I even bought Barbara Eden, the Genie's book, and read it, and that was fascinating. And I read it in 2 days, by the way. So that's, again, how my brain works. I don't read for a while, and then something's interesting, and I blow through it. So, all right. So that was actually, the timing wise was really interesting because it got my brain back into reading mode right before I went back to school, which started on Monday. So I am reading all of these different books now for school. Well, that's my book. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Integrative Oncology. So this, just to give you an idea, these are insanely thick. Integrative Oncology, which is just going to be super fascinating because I worked with an integrative oncologist, and it just is transformational when it comes to working with cancer patients and supporting them. So this is going to be an awesome part of my certificate. Then we have the Oxford Textbook of Oncology. Again, just to kind of give you an idea. Holy crap. So I've read the first 4 chapters of this. This one's hard. This one is look up all the words while I'm reading it hard. But what I like about this is, so you know how people learn in different ways. They read, they listen, they see, that sort of thing. This is an online course, and so it's very supportive to all those aspects of learning. And what I find is that sometimes if you do all of them, you start to understand things. And so I read the chapters, even though they were really difficult. I read the chapters, and then I watched the videos that were more simplistic and easy for me to understand, but it was registering because I had already read. So that's going to be an interesting course. I think it's going to be hard, but it's going to be good. And then I have this nutrition or oncology nutrition book, which, obviously it's going to be a little bit of an easier read, but it does include a lot of the science and everything behind it. So that's going to be really awesome too. And I've been enjoying that so far. So the course basically is all online. I have a ton of reading every single week. So I'm trying to figure out what my schedule is going to be, again, trying to manage my business and my life and school at the same time. But I do a lot of reading, and then I have discussions or research papers that I have to do every single week. Week. So that's going to take some time. And then thankfully they're not like 10-page papers every time. They're short, but I have to, do them weekly. And I have 2 classes that I'm doing. So it's either like a discussion in one and a research paper in the other or whatever. And then I also have an hour-long Zoom class with the professor in each class. So that's 2 hours a week. So I'm kind of finding that this is going to take a lot of time, even though it's part-time in 2 classes. So I'm really going to have to structure my weeks really well, but I'm excited for that. For those of you guys who don't know, I published a book. It's called Healthy Through Hodgkin's. I don't think I really made a big announcement in here. So if you don't know, I'm the author of a book now. It's called Healthy Through Hodgkin's. And this book really goes through my journey, why I chose integrative care, how I chose my treatments, who I chose to work with. There's a whole chapter called Assemble Your Team, and your team doesn't have to look like my team. And people have asked me, I've been interviewed on several podcasts about this book already, and if you're interested in kind of learning more about what's in it, I'm happy to share that audio with you. But people have asked me, is this okay for maybe the families of cancer patients, or maybe people that don't have Hodgkin's, things like that. And yes, the answer is yes. If you're interested in the foundational aspects of health and learning how you can optimize your home environment and your nutrition, this is a very foundational book. If someone is really struggling through treatment and a family member wants to read it for them and incorporate some of the things, that's fine. If somebody has a different type of cancer, now I wrote it through the lens of Hodgkin's because that's what I personally experienced, and I share a lot of my own stories and my life stories in it. But if you are dealing with some other type of cancer, a lot of the foundational principles, which is what's in this book, still apply. So that's fine. And then it really even applies to anyone dealing with any sort of chronic disease as well. So, I was talking to someone the other day, their husband, totally not dealing with cancer or anything like that, that this would be an appropriate read because it talks about releasing emotional toxicity in order to heal. It talks about assembling your team, making sure you're your own advocate. You have the permission to fire your doctor. You should have a good relationship with your physician. And if you don't, it's okay to change them. So there's just a lot of things like that in here. So if you guys haven't checked this out yet, please do. It's KyleneTerhune.com, myname.com/book. And you can purchase it there. You can go to Amazon and just type in the name Healthy Through Hodgkin's. You can purchase it there. And really, like I said, anyone that's interested in the foundationals of health can get it and read it. Or if you want to learn more about my story and my life, feel free. But really, if you know someone that's diagnosed with cancer, I'm hoping that this will be a gift. A lot of people sent me gifts when I was diagnosed, and it was just a real encouragement. Some people sent me books. I just thought that was the nicest thing. So my goal is that is a go-to, so that people in my world, if they hear that a friend of theirs has cancer, that they buy this book and give it to them as a gift and a resource and an encouragement. And really is meant to be an encouragement. So that is there. I'm really excited about that. I'm getting some good feedback on it, so that's exciting. If you have purchased it, could you please go on Amazon and leave a review? That's really helpful. So again, trying to get the word out that integrative care is even a thing. People don't know that it's a thing, and it's so powerful to help your body, guys. I can't emphasize that enough. It makes such a tremendous difference. Such a tremendous difference. And so leaving reviews on Amazon helps people that are not in my circle, that are not in this group, that are not my friends on Facebook, that are not my immediate family members, find out that this book is available and maybe check it out for themselves. And hopefully there's a lot of information. There's a whole resource page or resource chapter. Here's one page of the chapter. There's a whole resource chapter in the back. It includes books relating to cancer, books about nutrition, other books, blogs, recipes, all integrative care clinics, just a ton of different things that can be supportive to somebody as they start their journey to health and have to make a lot of decisions during that process. So that's in the back. So, and anybody that's in my Facebook group, Healthy Through Hodgkin's, they have access to that chapter, but that way they can click the links. So that's available. In other reading, I read this book yesterday. It's called Shake It Off, An Integrative Approach to Parkinson's Solutions. So that's a really great book if you are interested in brain health or preventing Parkinson's, or if you or a loved one suffer with it. This is a great book. So that was a good read. It was a quick little read yesterday. And right now I'm going through the Walls Protocol. So this is Dr. Terry Walls. She is an MD. She had multiple sclerosis and she reversed it. There are a couple other things that she did, but primarily she treated it with nutrition, and she created a whole protocol around it. So she really researched what foods were needed to have a balanced, nutrient-dense diet that actually feeds, but not only feeds the brain, but actually repairs the brain and the body, because we have this incredible regenerative power in our bodies. And so she did a ton of research and basically learned how to, hi Ashley, hi Carol, how to tap into that. And she created a whole protocol. And what was cool, I'm not reading this one word for word. I'm kind of skimming through it to get the general gist. But what's nice is that she has different levels based on what your goals are, what your medical history is, that sort of thing. And so you can kind of tailor it to yourself. And I'm actually thinking, as I design a program for cancer patients in the future, that I may incorporate something like this in terms of my nutritional guidelines and resources for them, because it's just so balanced with science and so regenerative and healing and supportive to the body. I don't really think you can go wrong with it. It's just really, really awesome. Okay, so let's get to the good stuff. Let's talk about our mental health during this time, because, oh my goodness, we are still at home. How many months has it been? I lost count. I was talking to my husband the other day. We have not been on a date since February 14th, since Valentine's Day. So March, April, so almost 3 months now. And that's the thing that we're missing. So here's a fun thing that I decided to do. Maybe you guys can do it too. I was sitting around and I was like, the one thing I miss, because I am a little bit of an introvert, so this doesn't bother me too much, but one thing that I miss is dates with my husband. I love going out. I don't drink very much at all, very rarely. In fact, maybe once, maybe twice a month, maybe I'll have a cocktail. And what we really like is, I'm kind of like, if I'm going to have one, I want it to be a good one. And we really like to go out and get some steak and cocktails at a really nice restaurant. And so that's one thing that I miss. So this weekend, I texted my husband and I was like, hey, honey, let's do this. Let's have a restaurant coursed dinner over the weekend. So we're going to have this 4-course dinner with dessert. Everything's going to be homemade. We're going to have special fancy cocktails that we're going to prepare and all this kind of stuff. It's going to be really fun. So maybe that's something that you can do. But let's talk about 3 things that you can do now that we are still in this stay-at-home process. Number 1, a lot of my clients are experiencing anxiety. So obviously, when we work together, one of our goals is to support the body so that you're not having an abnormal anxiety response. So there's anxiety that's caused by circumstance, which is what's happening right now, and there's anxiety that's happened by imbalances in your body. And we want to make sure that the imbalances in your body, primarily problems in the gut that regulate your neurotransmitters, etc., those are gone. But we can't just magically fix the fact that environment does play a major role in, our circumstances play a major role in how we feel about things. And so right now it's causing a lot of anxiety for people. And so 2 things that you can do right now to put your body into a parasympathetic rest and digest mode is deep breathing. And people think that this is boring, or it's not really that helpful, or it's, not worth the time. But if you have anxiety, I'm telling you, this is one of the easiest, most powerful things that you can do it does put your body into rest mode regardless of, it's so easy. It's not hard. You can literally do it for 5 minutes. And here's the thing, I was talking to my client yesterday about this. We have things that we can do in response to anxiety, and we have tools and techniques that we can do to prevent, like be ahead of, be proactive against anxiety. And one of those tools is purposefully, when you're not anxious, getting into rest and digest mode by doing things like deep breathing, prayer, meditation, and things like tapping. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. So deep breathing is something that you can do almost as a preventative when you're not feeling anxious to support your body into getting into that rest and digest mode before you even feel anxiety. It's also a technique that you can do in the middle of anxiety. So if your heart starts pounding and you feel revved up, deep breathing can literally within a few minutes bring that heart rate down. I've personally done this. I've been super triggered and I've sat down and done some deep breathing and it brings your heart rate down. So you have to be really intentional about it. It's hard at first because you might be out of breath and your heart's going. And so you have to be really intentional about it, but within a minute or two, it's going to bring everything back down. And doing this intentionally before you even feel anxiety can be really helpful because, again, it's getting that body into that safe place. That's where the healing occurs. That's where we feel our best. That's where all of our systems work the best, okay? So deep breathing, how do you do it? Real simple. You breathe in for 4 counts, you hold for 4 counts, you breathe out for 6 counts. The biggest thing there is you breathe in for a shorter period, you hold it, you breathe out for a longer period, then you breathe in. That's it. That's totally it. If you want to do it in through your nose and out through your mouth, you can do that, but it will bring your heart rate down within a few minutes. You just have to be really consistent and keep doing it until you feel better. That's it. Tapping. I did an interview recently, and she was sharing the benefits of tapping. It's really simple. Oh, I think I missed one. There's one here. It's really simple. And hi, Sarah, you can actually do this anytime. And she was sharing how it was with Stacey Claxton, by the way, on the Lifelong Vitality podcast. It's one of the most recent episodes out, so if you want to check it out. And she was even talking about how, if you're in front of people, there are certain points on your hand that you can tap. You don't have to go through the entire process. If you want to, it's very relaxing. It's just a couple taps in each location. And it's very relaxing. And you can put a mindset to it. You can put a affirmation to it. You can put an intention for the day to it, or you can do nothing at all, and it's still very, very relaxing. But she was talking about, like, if you're in front of people, there's some real basic ones where you don't have to, go through the whole routine. You can still just, maybe tap on that fat part of your hand there, on the outside part of your hand. What's that called? I forget what that's called, but right there. So check that out, but that's really, really helpful. So breathing and tapping are 2 things that you can do either as preventative or in response to feeling anxiety throughout this time. The second thing, and I can't emphasize this enough, focus on healthy foods. With the forced time at home, people are cooking at home more than ever. Take this as an opportunity, not a frustration, an opportunity to improve your health. Because here's the thing, what's happening right now is that we have something that's more contagious than a lot of other. It's just easier, it's more easily spread than other things, right? And so what is the absolute best personal defense that you can have? A healthy, clean, toxin-free home environment, a healthy terrain on the inside that has a really, really strong immune system, that you mount your own defenses really well, and that your body is not already fighting against 20 other things like toxins and chemicals and bacterial imbalances and parasites and yeast and fungi and stress and all these other things. Remove them all. And one of the things that every single person can do is focus on their nutrition during this time. And so I'm going to give you a huge list of things that you can do that are supportive to you right now, because I know that even if you want to cook at home, if this is the first time you've ever done it, it's probably going to be overwhelming, and you're probably going to need resources either for grocery shopping or just even to have meals prepared. So here are a few of my favorite resources. Are you ready? Write them down. One, for non-perishable items, you can go to thrivemarket.com. So again, the other benefit to these things I'm about to give you is you don't have to go to the grocery store if that is causing anxiety. I know one of my clients, that alone is causing anxiety. So, excuse me, I just inhaled some of my own spit. All right. So the first thing you can do for non-perishables, things like oils and snacks and ghee and all these different things, spices even, you can go to thrivemarket.com, get a membership. It's like $40 a year or something like that, $50, something like that. And you can get them shipped to your door. Okay. So for non-perishables, it's a great option. For meats, for high quality meats that you can just keep in your freezer, butcherbox.com. I love it. There's also Vital Choice and Seven Sons, so find what works for you, but ButcherBox is what we've been using recently, and the quality and flavor of the meats has just been incredibly outstanding. So butcherbox.com, stock your fridge with or stock your freezer with meats. And, you can set it on a recurring order, and then you can put it in your calendar or your phone calendar if you need to adjust that. Maybe you didn't run through it as quickly as you thought, etc. But that's one of the greatest tools, is to always have, frozen meat and frozen vegetables, because literally within about 30 minutes, you can have a super basic dinner that tastes fine, is super nourishing if you have some frozen meat and some frozen vegetables. So those are a couple shopping tips. If you want some breakfast ideas or smoothie ideas, or you're really looking on an easy way to incorporate more fruits and vegetables into your day without having to think about it, dailyharvest.com. They do vegetable and fruit smoothies, green smoothies, and they also do bowls as well. So those are really great. They're the one thing I like about Daily Harvest is it's all organic. So the vegetables that you're getting are organic. So you don't want to be blending a smoothie of a lot of fruits and vegetables that have been soaked in pesticides and herbicides and things that are carcinogenic and cause gut disruption and cause inflammation in the body, because you're just making them super concentrated and chug-a-lugging it down. So what you do want, if you're going to do something like that, is to get the organic version. Daily Harvest makes it super easy. You can keep it in a freezer. It comes in the cup. You fill the cup with liquid. You dump it in the blender. You blend it up. You pour it back in the cup, and you eat it. So it's good. And you can always soup it up too if you want it to be, some of them are high calorie, some of them are low calorie. Let's say you get a 150 calorie one. You can always add some nut butter, some collagen powder. I would encourage you, if it's just fruits and vegetables or maybe higher on the fruits, to always add something like a collagen powder to it. So you're balancing that with some protein so that you're not going to have a blood sugar spike from the smoothie itself. So there are a couple tips for the shopping. Now, in terms of, I'm still really busy. This is new for me. I kind of need to adjust. Maybe you need some meal inspiration. Maybe your husband's still working. Maybe you're still working. You still want some healthy food options during this time. There are several meal delivery services that can help either during transitions or during busy times. And so those are Paleo on the Go, Pete's Paleo, Freshly.com, metabolicmeals.com. Those are 4 that are really, really excellent, and they have high quality stuff, and they all offer a little bit different, but those are all ones that are really, really great. So you don't have to be Martha Stewart. You can still be making healthy choices. And again, that is our best defense right now to support our bodies, get a lot of nutrient density, support our immune systems, give our bodies what it needs to be as healthy as possible. Speaking of that, the third thing that you do, so the first thing is addressing the anxiety piece, deep breathing, tapping. You can do either one of those before or during a feeling of anxiety. The second thing you can do is really support your nutrition by choosing healthy foods, and I just gave you a long list of how to do that. And 3, get outside and soak up the sun. So we know that vitamin D is a powerful player in your immune system. We know that low vitamin D is associated with a lot of chronic diseases, including cancer. A lot of cancer, I would think almost all cancer patients would have a lower vitamin D serum level when they get diagnosed. So it's a very important piece of our immune system. And there are just things that we don't quite understand in terms of there are better benefits when you get it from the sun than when you get it from a pill. So I use supplementation because I have some genetic issues with vitamin D. And I tend to have chronically low levels even when I've supplemented, so I always supplement anyway. And in addition to that, I try to get some outside as much as possible. So just like pulling a nutrient from a food is great and helpful when you need higher doses, but we also want to be getting it in the whole food form because there's all these other cofactors and enzymes and other nutrients that help it work better. So when we can get it in that whole food form, it's always better. The same is true for vitamin D. So the sun is the whole food form. We want to get it. There are other benefits that we don't even quite understand that it works better in our body. And your body also has this natural turn off switch when it says, okay, I've created enough vitamin D only when it comes from the sun. You can overdose on supplements. But when it comes from the sun, your body has this natural switch where it says, okay, I'm done, and it won't overproduce vitamin D when it comes naturally from the sun. It'll turn that production off. And then, of course, your body will also signal to you when it's running out of antioxidants and you need to get out of the sun, but you'll start feeling a little dry and get a little pink, and then you got to get out of the sun. So your body has all these natural checks and balances, which is really awesome. We just got to listen to it. So as it starts warming up, and we are limited in where we can go, we are still encouraged. I still encourage you tremendously. Take walks every single day. Get that fresh air. Do some deep breathing while you're outside. That'd be great. You're breathing, deep breathing, oxygenating your body, getting that fresh air at the same time and absorbing the sun. If you can, take walks in your bare feet. Take walks in your bare feet. So grounding, I've talked about that before, super powerful. I have actually been, and I'm going to share this with you, I ground when it's warm outside with my bare feet on the ground, but I also purchased a grounding blanket here in Ohio. It's not cold or not warm for like half the year, and you're not going to be walking barefoot, and so you're not going to get that benefit. So I got a grounding blanket, which means that it's plugged into an outlet that is grounded in the earth outside. And you have to check your outlets to make sure. But I sleep on the grounding blanket, and I've been very consistent with this for about 2 weeks. And you guys, energy has always been a marker to me of my health if I'm able to get really awesome sleep and then wake up with energy. And then if I wake up early, to me, that's a real sign that things are going well because I'm not typically a morning person. And with few exceptions, I've been waking up around 6:30 after consistently sleeping on the grounding blanket, and that's huge. So what grounding does is it lowers inflammation, it resets your circadian rhythm, so you're connecting to the earth's natural rhythms. It resets the electrical settings in your body. It's kind of hard to explain, but we basically want a negative charge, and a lot of the interference that we get from different wavelengths can interfere with that, and so grounding helps reset that. So there's just quite a lot of benefits to lowering inflammation. People will notice better sleep. They'll notice less joint pain, less inflammation, that sort of thing. So I would encourage you, it's getting warm outside, get the sun, get the benefits of the vitamin D, get the fresh air, and then also, connect to the earth, connect to nature as much as you can. These are some of our best defenses. So those are the 3 things I would say that you can start doing right away, right now today, as we are still stuck inside and we're starting to feel a little bit more anxious. So I hope that those are helpful. The last piece that I wanted to talk with you about today is where you want this group to go, because really this is here for you. And so I'm curious if posts are better for you or if videos are better for you. Do you want more short videos, for example, that share health tips, like I just shared those 3? Do you want more videos like that? Do you prefer text? Do you want to blend? Let me know, because I want this to be a place that is supportive to you and what you're interested in learning. And that's it. So I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you guys are staying well. I hope that you are staying calm and peaceful and feeling good and strong and healthy. And I hope that this video was supportive to you moving forward this week. So have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you soon.